Okay. iPad, can you unmute yourself? Okay, let's go to the next person. Salima, you want to unmute yourself, please?
या अली मदद शहनाज आपा
या अली मदद सलीमा
मुला अली मदद पहले तो सॉरी कि मैं अटेंड नहीं कर पाई, जमात खाने में ड्यूटी थी मेरी और वाइंड अप करके आना था।
कोई मसला नहीं है, आप
थैंक यू सो मच। आप वो रोशनी है हमारे जिंदगी में इल्म की जो हमारे रास्ते को रोशन कर रही है और हमको मंजिल तक पहुंचाने में बहुत साथ दे रहे हो आप। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर एवरीथिंग। और मैं थैंक यू करना चाहूंगी मेरे जीनत आपा को, फैजा आपा को, अजीज को और सारे को होस्ट को। मौला आप सबकी खिदमत कबूल करे और आप पे हमेशा मीठी रहम की नजर रखे और आप सबको अपनी हिफाजत पे रखे। आमीन। बस मुझे और कुछ नहीं बोलना था। थैंक यू।
थैंक यू सलीमा, इट्स ऑल बाय ग्रेस ऑफ मौला।
शुक्र मौला,
शुक्र।
Okay, iPad, you want to try again? See if you can unmute yourself. All right, let's go to Shireen.
Ya Ali Madad Shahnaz Appa. I have no words, and no words can I express my thanks to you and the team. Wonderful, wonderful session. Excellent.
Thank you.
My question today is, when you were talking about the world of imagination, does it mean the same world of imagination that Ibn Arabi says about Jabrasa and Jabalka? Is it the same world that you were mentioning? Did I understand that world of imagination right?
If you could please translate that those words of Kinan exactly for me.
No, today evening we were listening to Dr. Khalil Andani, and he was mentioning about the world of imagination post our death and prior to our death.
Okay.
Before our life on this earth and after our life on this earth. And he mentioned about those two worlds, which he named it as Jabrasa and Jabalka.
Okay. Since I've not heard that particular lecture. Okay. Please go ahead. Complete your question.
No, so I just wanted to understand, is it that when we are dreaming, we are going into that world, or is it just another world?
Okay, since I've not heard those that lecture particularly, so I'm really not sure. But I mean, the division of 4 worlds, that shows that world of imagination is a reality. Sitting here, we can fly in our imagination, and gradually that imagination could be so powerful, so real. You know, one of the exercises I used to do when I was young, I would close my eyes and I will think that Maulana Hazri Imam is coming. Darbar is arranged. A beautiful throne is placed. There is red carpet. And now the whistle will be blown by the volunteers, because that's how in Karachi it used to happen. So now Maula is coming inside. Now he has entered the hall. Now the salawat is being recited. And sometimes your imagination gets so powerful that you literally feel that, oh, Imam is sitting in front of you. Your imagination has a power that you can bring things closer to you, and you can make them feel real. I think people who go through spiritual experiences and they see a theophany, they see a mushahada, as we call that, we see that thing very real. Many moments report that they see Maula, they see something like that. So that is the power of imagination, which gets so real and it gets close to the world of reality. So imagination and dreams are 2 intermediary worlds between spiritualism and physical world. And you can travel through the world of imagination. You can make your khayal strong. So khayal is imagination, but khayal is it's a flight. Khayal ta'ir barqi hai. It is said that it is electronic bird which flies by itself, you know. Electronic will be also limiting. So burraq, like we say that Miraj pe Rasool burraq pe gaye the. So burraq was a horse, which was a spiritual flight, yeah. So imagination is our spiritual flight, and Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah has given it a lot of importance, saying ke tumhara khayal wahan pahunch sakta hai. And we are given Baitul Khayal. You sit in the house of Khayal. You start thinking that these things could come closer. Of course, then you sit in that house and you recite Isme Azam. So first, the world of imagination gets brighter. Then the world of dreams is affected. It also enlightens. And then you enter the world of spiritualism. So that is how I would explain it. But I would like to listen to his lecture and really see if I could answer your question later.
Okay, I just wanted to share another thing also, that when you talked about Namai Amal,
Yes.
It is so real, so real. I have been working on improving myself on certain shortcomings, and I consciously try every day. And I come to know that it will mukamal ho gaya, I get a dream about it, and I am doing the same thing. So when you said that, it really brought tears to my eyes. It was wonderful, wonderful. Third thing I had was when Sultan Muhammad Shah made that farman that Ame koi na sapna ma aata nathi. What did he mean? Was it in certain context, or how do we interpret that?
Okay. I have heard about that farman, but I think its context reveals certain other things also. But my understanding to this is that Imam has empowered our soul so much. Our soul has come from the source of Imam. He is nafsi kul and we are nafsi juzvi, partial souls. Yeah. So our soul comes from him. And there is the essence is same. If it was not the same, it was not said that the one who knows himself knows the Lord, his Lord.
Right.
If A is not equal to B, you cannot say the one who knows A exactly knows the B. So one who knows himself knows his Lord. And Imam Sultan Shah also says that wo apni ruh ke ashik the. He talks about certain buzurgs, mystics, and he says wo apni ruh ke ashik the. They loved their own souls. They were ashik of their own souls. If their own soul was not Imam's soul, how can they just love their souls and not the soul of Imam? So the essence is the same. I'm coming to the answer, but this is the principle. If we establish that there is a unity, हम तुम दोनों साया एक हैं, साया हम सुन पर्दा खोलो. So if we are one, then our soul is spark of his nafsikul, and it can become a flame. It could be actualized. So here, our soul itself could come in his form, Imam's form. And Imam, we can have Didar of Imam. The other explanation could be, one explanation is that since we have everything within ourselves, we have that divine spark, we have Imam in our heart. And Aziz Bhai, thank you for sharing all those beautiful ginans and farmans with the help, with Naila also. Thank you so much, Naila. Those farmans and ginans helped me to think about the background of the talk, today's talk. So Imam is all the time with you. If we say that Imam lives in our heart, he lives in our thought, there should be kasrat-e zikr. So when in the world we see things, we also see them in our dream. The thing we think about, we see that in our dream. The thing we experience, that is in our dream. So that Mawla who permanently resides in our heart, and all the time we are trying to enliven that connection, how is possible that we don't see him? Yeah, okay, there are two ways. Either your soul takes him his form and you see him, because your soul is a ray from the same sun. And the other explanation, because I have been giving these talks, so I thought about it. The other explanation is perhaps, yes, Imam doesn't come. He raises you high.
Okay.
He takes you to his realm to show you. Yeah. So because he is so meherban that he raises your perception, your experience, your status to the point where he resides. And that's where he gives you that blessings, that didar. So we also need to understand that context. But the thing that even if we think of a small worldly thing, it appears in our dream. So how could that Mawla who lives in our ruah, who lives in our every heartbeat, the person who does kasrat-e ibadat, kasrat-e zikr, that person who always remembers Mawla, If you remember a worldly thing once, twice, thrice, it may appear in your dream. So when Imam lives in your every cell and every particle, then you may see that reality. But we can also think that either your soul took his form, because your soul has that power, at least in the world of dream, it's a spiritual world, or he raised you so high where he made you see him. So that is the short answer to this question.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Shukar Mala.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you, Sheikh.
Otherwise,
we have
can I mention something about, because in reference to Khalil's presentation earlier today?
Please, please.
Yeah, so the question we just had right now was if that world of imagination that Khalil was speaking and the cities that he had mentioned, Khalil, Dr. Dani did mention that that material he was speaking about was specifically from within Sufism, particularly of Ibn Arabi, and also you might see it in some of the later esoteric 12er literature as well. This is not to say that in Ismailism we might not have similar examples or parallels, but for that particular question, when what Khalil was talking about was the world of imagination as articulated by Ibn Arabi and some of the Sufi conceptions of this intermediate world that might exist before we come here or after we leave, or we can even enter now as well too. I think it's slightly different from the presentation we were talking, the context we were talking about earlier when you showed the 4 different worlds. There is of course some similarities and overlap, but just one point to the person's question about the concept of khayal in the relation to sort of the imaginal vision, theophanies, and unveiling. It isn't. I think it's important to understand or realize also that imagination, you know, we use it in a general sense for the common man, but the imagination of those who are spiritually progressed is a little bit different. So we would understand that the khayal of a peer or a hujjat might be different. So much so the fact that in the Wajidin, Nasir Khusro talks about the fact that the hujjat will give knowledge and teaching to the dais through his words, whereas the imam teaches the hujjat through amr and through khayal, which means that there's a spiritual relationship between the imam and the hujjat that exists through the power of the khayal, whether that's the hujjat's khayal, the imam's khayal, or you know, both together. There's a certain realm where there's a connection that's not physical and the teaching comes, whereas the hujjat has to teach those who are underneath him using his words, his books, his speech. Nasir Khusro also mentions that the example of Hazrat Yusuf and the dream of the seeing the stars, the vision, that in this case, that it was Hazrat Yaqub who wanted to show him in the khayal, this vision, which has the symbolic meaning. So I'm just bringing this example up to show that this word of khayal, and some who have studied Ismailism and might know the idea of the Jad, Fat, and Khayal related to the angels, of course, of Jibril being related to the Khayal.
Yes.
These are the higher spiritual hudud, which in fact the Khayal is the one that kind of links the spiritual to the physical, because it is the first spiritual hud that one has to encounter to enter into the spiritual realm, which makes it even more fascinating that our Baitul Khayal practice is called the Baitul Khayal, which is like the entry point into the spiritual realm. So I just want to point out a little bit about this word khayal and how it relates to imagination, and what imagination particularly means here is that there's, like you said, theophany or unveiling, where intellectual meanings take on some sort of visionary experience that one might see and then be able to interpret. In fact, do a ta'wil, which means that you interpret that symbol to move up sort of higher and higher to the up the ranks of the Hudud-e-Din. So yes, I just wanted to mention that.
Oh, thank you, Khayal. This is really helpful and beautiful interpretation. If you see Khayal in your dream, then it means you are entering Alam-e-Khayal. That's interesting. And if you see Khalil means friend, and Prophet Ibrahim was known as Khalilullah. So yeah, that is also this Dr. Khalil Andani and another our good friend in Birmingham. So yes, so Khalil means friend. When I was mentioning those names, it just struck me while Khayal talked about it. Yes, I think the thing you talked that hujjats and peers get spiritual talim, you know, they get it through Amr, through opening up their hearts. As Nasir Khusro says, ke as dile hujjat be hazrat rah buat, uzatai de dilash aga buat. That there is a pathway between the heart of Imam and the heart of Hujjat. And Imam exactly knows the needs of the Hujjat, and he fulfills those. So yes, it's through Amr, and that the first door is at the world of imagination where you enter, or the first Hajj Jibrail is there, and that is the stepping stone from where your spiritual progress starts. So thank you very much, Khayal. It was all very helpful.
Okay, next is Zuli. Lalan.
Okay, thank you, Yali Madat ALWAAZ. This was my first time hearing your presentation, and it was a very superb presentation. I was quite impressed. Thank you. I have got a short question, two short questions. Dreams occur in the subconscious mind, so there is no use of intellect there, and so there is no control over dreams. So how is it that that intellect connected to dreams? How can it be an invitation from the divine without intellect? And then second part is, are revelation all dreams, or are they intellectually inspired divine messages?
Okay, it could be both. Thank you, Zul. It could be both. They are divine messages, or the divine messages also. When we say intellect, it is in a way the essence of the soul. What I have gathered, the essence of the soul is intellect, and because human existence is divided into three by our Buzurgs, especially Pir Nasir Khusro, who talks that you have body, you have soul, you have intellect. So anything which is a meter, we may call it a spiritual meter, but it can also give you guidance, indications about knowledge, about it could nourish your intellect also. So I think it's that dreams also cover the spiritual and the intellect level of human being, aspects of human being. There could be some nourishment or warning for your spiritual progress. There could be some nourishment or warning for your intellect. I mean, intellect is akal, the akal which is used to interpret religion in a way. It is that particular akal that we talk about. So when there are divine guidance, or there are some that kind of symbols come in your dream, which have some akli conclusion, interpretation, implications, then it is covering your intellect and intellectual progress also, akli progress also.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Khalil, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yeah, Ali Madad Shahnaz Appa.
Yeah, Ali Madad Khalil.
It was a wonderful lecture today. I really got connected. Shahnaz teacher, I want to just ask you one simple question. We talked about all these dreams, and I remember when you came here in Birmingham, I had the same question. So basically, your lecture is so perfect, but it's not for everybody right now. So I see a lot of Jamaati members, including me. But now, since I'm listening to your lectures, Allama Nasir's lectures, I'm getting aware of myself. So interpretation of dreams, like you said, okay, if we just get the gist, okay, was it a bad dream or it was a good dream? So if it is a good dream, it's a progress, like your soul is getting progress or something like that. How should we convey this message? How the normal Jamaati members, I'm not saying I'm extraordinary or something, but there are few Jamaati members, I don't think so they are taking this serious. They don't care, oh, I had a bad dream, man. But I'm just how this message should be conveyed to those members who are not interested in spiritual upliftment or something like that. So is it like Maula will guide them, and they will listen to your lecture, or they will see something in the Farmans or something like that? How should they will be understanding this kind of knowledge? You know what I mean?
Okay, thank you, Khalil. Yes, I think Mola can guide also. We hear a story of Wazir Ismail Ganji, who suddenly changed by listening to a Ginan. Pir Nasir Khusro changed his life by a dream. So there are examples like that, but I also believe that there is some background work for that. Yes, I think Jamaat could be inspired for knowledge. If we talk of these connecting ideas in Jamaat, I think we will get more response. I mean, that's where there should be a way to connect Jamaati members. If we could do it individually in groups, I think seeking knowledge, going for personal search is by all means allowed. So yes, you can introduce the books, you can talk about it, that dreams have a very important part to play in your life, because bad dream affects us badly and good dreams also help us. So, and it's a way of education, Khalil. I could see that sometimes people suddenly feel some spiritual inspiration and they also come towards it, but mostly it's through the way of knowledge. Like Imam Sultan Shah has said कि अगर तुम इल्म हासिल करोगे और इल्म पर जीना बजीना आगे बढ़ोगे तो तुम फरिश्ते बन जाओगे. इल्म वाली रूह आगे से आगे जाती है. दूसरा कहता है कि मैं तो यहीं पे रुक गया. ऐसे इमाम के फरमान क्या जिस्ट है. तो इस सूरत में इल्म जो है और इबादत, ये दोनों चीजें बहुत हेल्प करती हैं. और जो एक मैंने चीज बताई कि इंसानों का हक अदा करना, if you don't treat people well, your ibadat, your zikr, your humility, these symbols will not be able to help you, because they all have an impact on your dream. So, you know, the most worrying thing for a mu'min would be that he used to get good dreams, and now for a long time, for years, for decades, that is not there. That is very alarming. It means that we held the rope of Allah, but somewhere we just got dropped from the place we had started. And this indication could help you again hold it firmly and try to climb. So yes, for Jamaats, we can try different things, Khalid. And perhaps for every moment, there is a particular time that he gets attentive towards this particular blessings. We all have experienced that there was something in our life and we got really interested in spiritual knowledge.
Yeah,
But
and
knowledge is the key.
And one more thing I want to add here, Shehnaaz teacher, thanks to you, like I feel like every day, I feel like right now, I'm in a moment, every moment I'm feeling like I'm in heaven. And because one thing I learned, like since I started listening to your lectures and all that thing, you know, usually I like watching a lot of movies and entertainment and all that thing. I say, man, this is boring, you know, talking about religion and all that all the time. So for the entertainment purpose, you know, I was watching TV and all those things. I stopped all that crap. Okay. After Jamaat Khana, when I come home, I'm so pleasant. I'm listening to wise. I'm listening to lectures. I feel like, wow, this is the life I want to enjoy. And every moment I feel like I'm in heaven. So I can sleep late, but I can wake up early for bandagi and all that thing. Everything is happening. So I think so. Wow, Mola should guide everybody like this. And that's all we need in this life, you know. All this crap, you know, entertainment is nothing. That's all I want to share. Thank you, Shehnaaz teacher, for all the guidance you have given me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Khalil. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Before I take the next person, can I ask all the co-hosts to, we have 4 or 5 of us. Let's take up a question each in the chat, so then you can relate it to Shehnaaz Appa and we can see if we can get through these questions fast instead of my trying to search for them individually. We can go alphabetically. Faiza, Gulnar, Rose, Salima. All right. Okay, Kamruddin, you want to unmute yourself?
Yani Madad Shehnaaz Appa. Okay. My question is, sometimes you get the dream, and then sometimes you don't know how to analyze those dreams. So where should a person go? Because, you know, I get a lot of dreams, you know. But sometimes I'm puzzled, where should I go and analyze it? And how can I analyze it? Who is going to listen to me? Because this is the first lecture I heard. And I said, wow, okay, it's like it's an awakening call. But some of the dreams, like about recently, like about a month or two, I got this dream that I died, okay? But I went to my mayat.
Okay.
And I did all these processes and I buried myself and then I'm walking away. Now, where I go to analyze all this? See, there is no place where I can go or I can talk to somebody, or who am I going to talk to?
Okay.
This is
Thank
my
you,
problem.
Thank you, Kamruddin Sahib. Yes, that's a very strange dream. And about your question, you know, although Prophet has said that don't reveal your dream, and especially even if we see it about others, because they might be true today, they might not be true tomorrow. And then the expectation of people will be that, oh, you must always see some dream about them. But but Prophet has, I think he is allowed to share it with a sincere friend or a teacher who understands that. So yeah, I accept that perhaps there might not be many at present in our Jamaat who understand the philosophy of dream in this particular way. But you can share your dream with a very sincere friend who understands, who may not make fun of it, and who also knows something. So first of all, through knowledge, you will develop an insight by yourself. If you're interested, read those chapters. But it's quite possible that you get insight of your own dreams. And then if you trust people, if you think that I can help, or Khayal can help, or these hosts, after they have been listening to so many things, they can help. I think you can always confide in a teacher or a very good friend, and they can help you. What you saw was, I think, what I can understand was a level of mutu qabla an tamutu, die before your death. That you die before your death while you're still alive, and you witness your own death. Like Peer and Buzurgs, those who might have gone through this experience of mutu qabla an tamutu, they were alive and they also experienced death. So that is the indication towards that death, that shows the necessity of that death. And we may not die once for that, but if we sacrifice our nafs little by little, we are progressing towards mutu qabla an tamutu. So you might have seen one of your states that you are progressing towards that spiritual path, or you have seen the necessity or this miracle of Allah that dying before our death is an experience when you are alive and you also witness your death.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kamruddin.
Okay, thank you. Sweetie, you can unmute yourself. Go ahead, sweetie. Sweetie, you are unmuted. We can't hear you.
Yalimadad, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Yalimadad, first of all, this session is very informative that I cannot stop my tears. Thank you so much. I have a question on behalf of one senior who's in totally different country. And she just went through with a major surgery 2 months ago. And I was beside her, and she told me that she cannot close her eyes because at night she cannot go to sleep, because every time she tries to sleep, she sees the bad dreams and she's scared. And I I was beside her, so I observed her that she's, even in her dream, as soon as she tries to fall asleep, she's shouting and she wakes up, and then that's it. She cannot close her eyes. So I felt so helpless that I had no clue how to help her. If you can give me some suggestion for her.
Okay. I think one of the ways is zikr and ibadat, tasbih, girya uzari, and that person herself should get involved in that.
Sorry to interrupt, but
sorry. Yeah, please go ahead.
My life, I have seen her regular in her tasbih and bandagi and everything.
Okay.
Of surgery, she's also in pain. So every time I saw her doing her tasbih, and she was telling me that I'm continuing, but I cannot close my eyes, and I just see that dream.
Okay. There are two ways I can perhaps try to answer your question, Sweetie. I can feel how much feeling and association you have with that person. So yes, perhaps she should be helped by knowledge, by interpretation of dreams. This could be one of the ways. If somebody is doing a lot of zikr and the veil of ruhaniyat is lifted without him or her having enough knowledge to understand that, then also you have fearful, dreadful pictures and concepts coming to your eyes, your batini eyes. So if a person who is immersed in zikr and all the time doing that, remembering Mola, he needs to be guided towards acquiring some knowledge also. If the person, because for example, a car has 4 wheels or balanced, or you have 2 wheels of some other carriages. So ibadat and knowledge, they both go side by side. If you have enough ibadat, that ruhaniyat could just rush towards you. If you don't have enough knowledge, then you won't be able to understand if door has opened before your knowledge. So that could also create bad images, dreadful images. I have seen some people. There was a blind lady who was serving in Jamaat Khana despite her limitation, and all the time reciting Ginan. And of course, her life was limited. But she used to complain that I get bad dream and I get very upset and afraid. So I can relate that perhaps sometimes with a lot of ibadat and tasbih, the veil could lift. So knowledge beside tasbih and ibadat is very, very important. And we should guide Jamati members who do a lot of Kirya Uzari, lot of Zikr, that it should be supported by knowledge. Else, it could result in some sort of pressure, and you will not be able to understand that. So this is one of the interpretation I could do, because I've experienced these kind of people who do a lot of Zikr, who have spent their life in that. But since they were never told what it means, they were not able to understand, So before time, if the veil is lifted, then you get, because you are not pure enough to understand those things, then these are changed into dreadful images,
Also, I wanted to let you know that this person, I feel like she's in kind of abusive environment, and she was in a kind of scary place. Scary means she was supposed to stay in her room, empty room. There is no one, so she used to be scared. I don't know if that environment is affecting her right now, or like she is in so much control that I don't know if it's that, or also one of her dreams she told me, but I had no idea how to help her out or how to interpret. If you're okay, if I can discuss that dream with you. Okay. She said that she saw a healthy man. He's sitting there and he has a big tasbih in his hand. So he is having his tasbih in his hand. Same time, beside that healthy man, a very skinny, tall man is standing up. And when this lady saw that skinny, tall man in her dream, she got scared and she shouted and she woke up. And then she told me that dream. That's
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the context you are mentioning, sweetie, it could be some reflection of the context she lives in, you know. It could very much affect your mind. And I think if she's a lady who also is in tasbih and zikr, seeing somebody with a tasbih could also be like seeing an angel, you know. But if she, either her context doesn't let her discern those things, or as I said, the other aspect could be that she has reached there before getting anything of from knowledge. So that is creating dreadful images. I don't know, but somebody seeing with a tasbih could, and angels when they appear suddenly. And those who progress on the path of spiritualism, they do go through these kinds of experiences. They see themselves in one room, they come out, they see themselves sitting in other rooms, you know. Something could appear in front of them suddenly. uh, Trading on spiritual path needs a lot of nerves and uh, himmat and bravery, you know. So I would very much think that when she's going through a disease, when she's, you know, when you are sick, sometimes you see really good dreams, you know, because
Yeah.
your nafs is oppressed. At that time, you're not thinking about laughing and getting involved in the world and watching your favorite show. You are silent. You have taken a back seat. You are thinking about yourself. You are thinking about Mola. So sometimes after you have gone through a painful experience in the world, you may see good dreams, you know. So it could be that angel is there because the tasbih is there in hand, and I could relate that angels may appear in different forms. They could be tall and long. They may not appear uh, in one whole. They may appear gradually, you know. So it could be a spiritual experience, but because the lack of knowledge, she will not be able to discern that. So perhaps she needs to be supported and by prayer and with knowledge, you know. This could be one of the ways, Sweetie.
But what does it mean when she saw a very tall, skinny guy and she got scared?
Yeah, because angels could be, they may appear very differently because they are different from human beings.
Okay.
It shows their powers. Yeah, it shows their powers. So their height is spiritual height, you know. So and we can get even when spiritual miracles start to happen, one may get afraid. um, because you are not ready to take it. And once when the door is opening, there could be some things like when a fountain is coming out from the a spring is about to emerge from the land, then there are some dangerous kind of noises, you know. But once it starts flowing, then it is sweet, it is flowing, it is nice, it is healthy. But before opening that door, the fear is one of the tests which Allah definitely tests people through fear. And he talks about it in verse 155 of chapter 2. So yes, these things also, because we are human beings, we are not used to these things. So we do get scared. So every time getting scared may not be because you are not progressing. Sometimes because you are progressing and you are not able to take them due to lack of knowledge or spiritual bravery, or it because these things do put a pressure. Imagine if somebody sees Mola, okay, then the person is very happy, but that situation could be very pressurizing where he sees that he could be scared. So I think even when we say that you are scared, we have to divide it into two different level, you know.
Okay, I got it. Thank you so much. I have one more quick question. Last one. Is there any tasbih that I can do it for her? Because she forgets and she is really physically weak. So I want to do some tasbih for her that can help her soul. Does it also count towards her soul?
I think it's a very good idea to pray. You know, Quran praises those who pray for others. And Quran says this is a habit of angels that they pray. So all moments who pray for each other, sometimes your own prayer does not help it, but somebody else praying for you definitely helps you. So I think this should be one of the habit of this Ilmi Majlis, that we all make a habit that we pray for each other. That really helps. We should pray for humanity. We should pray for whole world of Islam. We should pray for Ismaili Jamaat, and especially those who are close to our hearts, those who are our family, our very good friends, those whom we know and they are in pain. We should especially pray for them. Prayer does help. So yes, you can perhaps recite this tasbih, La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minaz zalimin. This is one of the tasbih which we discussed, and this is also available in one of my lecture, I guess, where I've talked about philosophy of tasbihs. So it says that there is no Lord except you, and you are glorified. You are the glory. Your glory may be elevated, and I am from amongst the wrongdoers. So this is a tasbih when Prophet Yunus was in the stomach of a whale fish. Then he was praying. It was to come out from a situation. Yeah, it can help you come out from a situation which is dark, like the stomach of a fish would be dark, and there would be a chaos. So it is one of the aspect of the tasbih is that, although there is tawil also. So you can recite this particular tasbih, and any tasbih for mushkil asan also. Yeah, sweetie.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks a lot. This
You're most
helped
welcome.
me maybe the best in my life.
Thank you so much, sweetie.
Thank you,
Malam.
everyone. Thank you to you, Mola
Welcome.
Thank you, all audience, everybody. Thank you.
Welcome. Naseem.
Yes, Yalimata Sainas Baima.
Yalimadat Naseem.
Today you are talking about dream. So I want to just tell you about the dream like 35, 40 years before this dream is, but this is always in my mind, okay? We just talk about the Hazar Imam, usually don't come in our dream and all, but you will believe in India, Bombay, where we were staying, it was a cosmopolitan building, and we had a lady who was Hindu opposite, and always in the evening time, she had a habit, mostly like in India, we have ke bhai ek jara lasan de do ya mirchi de do, adrak de do, you know. And many times in evening time, we are reciting dua because that time was I had just, my child was born and we never used to go every day to Jamaat Khan, and in evening time, we used to recite dua. And you know, my elder sister, and we are staying in the same building. So this happened with my elder sister. So my elder sister doesn't talk too much. Even if reciting dua, like dua reciting, she would open the fridge and used to give her like whatever she asked. One day in the morning, she was literally shivering. And she's telling, touch my hands. It was like a cold as an ice. What she's telling, you know, on near the door, my sister had 2 chairs. She's telling, a photo kiska, a photo kis kone hai? She had never asked before. So my sister said, we believe. अरे ए कुर्सी पे इधर बैठा था फरीदा, एक कुर्सी पे इधर बैठा था, और उसके साथ एक गोरी गोरी मैडम था, बड़ा बड़ा आंख वाला. That time it was Salima Begum. And we had never put that photo also of the Salima Begum, only Hazar Imam photo we keep in our house. And she's telling, and that lady was staring me with so anger. And this what you're believing him, he's telling, see, don't ever enter at this time. This is a time when I and she talks. This is our time. So don't come us to disturb us. And she's telling, oh my God, now never, never, never I will come in the evening to ask you anything. So what is this? If we are telling Hazar Imam is not coming in our dream, Hazar Imam is coming in that Hindu dream and warning her. So because I believe, even though people don't believe, I believe because I get many times Hazar Imam in the dream and I do believe it. So what is about this Hindu lady? What she was telling was true or what it was. But literally she was shivering, okay? And her hands were as cold as ice. Okay? And she stopped coming from that day also in the evening to ask. Anything she wanted, she would come in the afternoon and ask us.
Thank you, Naseem. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, because we have to understand this Farman of Imam that while many of us would be blessed. And if you are saying Mubaraki to all those who see Mawla in their dream, this is a very significant spiritual progress. Yes, so we see, and if it is said that I don't come, then of course there is a reconciliation, there is an understanding, and I talked about that. So yes, about Hindu, Mawla may, because every soul is connected to him, whether that soul knows it or doesn't know it. Its example, Pir Nasir Khusro has given that Imam works like your nose. Nose keeps breathing. It breathes in daytime. It breathes at night. It breathes when you are conscious that your nose is breathing. It breathes when you are not even conscious that your nose is breathing. And that is what has kept you alive. So Imam sustains all the souls. He keeps sending the waves of life towards everybody. Khalaqakum min nafsin wahida. I have created you all from one soul. So we all are connected with that. The whole humanity is connected with that. If anybody today becomes an Ismaili and comes to Baitul Khayal and progresses, he or she might go far beyond an Ismaili. How could that person make that such a progress? Because he is originally connected. It is not that he is now a new connection. Originally, everybody is connected. All the people of the world is connected. In Quran, there are two very interesting terms: Imam of people, Imamun Nas, and Imam of Muttaqeen, Imam of pious ones. Imamul Muttaqeen and Imamun Nas. So he is Imam of everybody in that sense that all souls, the source of all souls is Imam himself. And particularly the souls of pious people or his murids, and even from amongst his murids, there will be levels, yeah? I mean, who is trying to keep that level for smooth progress, or who just leaves it after a little bit of progress. So there are so many levels amongst his own people also, but these two terms tell us that Imam is Imamun Nas, and Nas means all the people of the world without any exclusion. So in that sense, anybody could connect spiritually. There could be a purpose for Imam to come in somebody else's dream to give a message, because he wants to change the world by all means. So sometimes he takes some work from some other souls also. So it is possible. In the story of Hazrat Yusuf, one of the king who does not believe in Allah, he sees a dream, and then Hazrat Yusuf interprets for him. So it is quite possible that some other people may also get those kinds of dream. So there could be a program of Allah. There could be some functions need to be done by them. So it is possible. So yeah, thank you, Naseem.
Thank you, Sainaz Bhai. So kind of you. Yes, she was a very humble lady, very holy, very simple. So I think so Mawla Bapa can come in her dream and tell us. Yes, I do believe you. I do believe you. She was very, very nice lady. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much.
Rashida?
Yes, thank you so much. Shanazapa, you're just amazing, amazing. Bless you, bless you. I have personal experience that I would like to share with you, and I'd like to find out if this is possible or not. My sister was had brain infection, and she was on the verge of dying, and the doctor said she had only 8% hope that she'll make it, and 92% she's going to die, and the 8%, even if she lives, she's going to be a vegetable. My mother was in Vancouver. We got her to Toronto, where my sister was. My mother put her hand on my sister's head and says, she will not die. And I don't know, but she recovered. It was a miracle. Even the doctor said that was the miracle. And then when we discussed what had happened to my sister, she was saying she saw all our Rouhani family members too. And she did go up there, and she had after that experience. And she felt the beautiful pink buildings and white flowers and angels. And she said that I like it here. And they said, no, you still have a purpose and you have to go back. And she said, I don't want to go back. And they said, no, you have to go back. She is still here 30 years. And my mother passed away in 2 months after my sister's experience.
Subhanallah. That is so amazing, Rashida. Yes, we have heard certain other stories, and I mean, coming it from you, I can believe how true and established story is this. Yes, I mean, the people, this is, of course, miracle, you know. It could be your mother's prayer or her belief or very strong belief, or perhaps Mola wanted to show a miracle that it is he who could keep the soul or release it. Because one of the slides which I showed, that when we sleep, he seizes the soul, but he releases it
Yes.
back. So
Yes.
it is him who can keep it or releases it back too. So this is one of the miracles. And during that state, I could believe that certain experience like that could take place, you know. And
Yes.
yeah, she might have experienced paradise. She might have experienced Didar and angels. So this is very
Yes.
like,
She's very,
because
very,
it was very close to death. And
yeah,
death
she
is the
was.
time of
She
Amal Nama.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
Alhamdulillah.
all I wanted to ask you is, my mom died after 2 months of that incident. Could she have given her life to her?
I'm not very sure about this aspect, Rashida, but definitely there are stories. There was story about Mughal king also, that he wanted to give life to his son. If Mola wishes, and if
Of course.
somebody wish it with all sincerity, it could be accepted. It could be. I'm not very sure about that.
That's okay. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
most
you
welcome.
so much. Yeah.
Jasmine,
Yeah.
Jasmine.
Yali Madad, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Yasmin. Yali Madad.
Yali Madad. I had a question for you. Can one person in this realm who is constant in zikr, in ibadat, most of the time, but they're carrying on the daily duties as well. But when they go to sleep, which is in a realm, a sort of way, are they able to visit the Rouhani continuously because they need something? Or I don't know if the word seva exists up there. And so my question is, you know, people, I surround myself with people who do bangi, and they say they've noticed people go and serve Rouhanis that have passed this world. Is that possible?
I'm not very sure what they mean by going and serving the Rouhanis. I mean, is it something like serving special people or senior citizens or a particular committee of Jamaat? I mean, that's what they experience. Because Rouhanis, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was more like you either are sitting beside them, standing with them, and you're just trying really hard to help them to go to the Asal Makan. So it could be recitations of zikr and maybe listening to them.
Okay, I mean, prayers for raising the level of a Rouhani is done in Islam. कि मौला बिहिश्त में उसके दरजात को बुलंद करे. Because even if they have reached the bihisht, there are so many other levels of bihisht. So praying that may their levels in the paradise be elevated or raised, that is fine. But I'm not sure what other way they could. Yes, perhaps they could pray for their levels. But I think to believe that because of them a Rouhani is getting to a higher place, I'm not sure. Because Rouhanis are in the world where they definitely do not need any physical thing, no food, no clothes, no water, no sharbat, which usually we families take to Jamaat Khana. So that is there. Yes, what they need, that sometimes we remember them. When we remember them, a flower bouquet reaches them. Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
when we pray for them, this is like praying for their souls that they may raise in paradise.
Mhm.
This could help, but I'm not sure about the part that you physically witness that this is happening. You know, I'm not
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
And then in Reiki, before you're going to apply a Reiki procedure, can you have a premonition in your dream before you go to do the Reiki or channeling that person who's like, you know, really in hard times, you know, for being sick? So for the person who's going to do it, they'll get a permission in their dream, maybe a step guide or something. And I'm just wondering, is that possible from dream to give that kind of answers?
Well, if you persistently look for some answers, especially for your own spiritual progress and uply progress and understanding your soul, I believe that those are answered in your dreams gradually, if not immediately. Gradually, those questions are answered. But I'm not sure if all the worldly questions would be answered. Okay, you may get a hint to go ahead or not in your dreams, but I'm not sure if that could be done every time.
No, it's not done every time. It's just when somebody needs a healing. It could be a small healing as far as putting a bandage on their leg because they got scraped. And then next thing, the mother comes to your store and tells you, you know what, you didn't just fix my mom, you fixed my mom. And she was so happy that her whole life and she said, I don't know what you did, but her whole life is brand new.
I see.
And so I said, I didn't do anything really. You know, I just do my seva and that's it. And Kuro Shukar Mola that your daughter came back to give me that information. But again, I think we're all connected with the links, right? The zikr, allowing to be in silence, allowing dreams to happen. So yeah, shukar Mola.
Shukar.
Just have
Great.
to have faith, because that one fellow was saying, right? How can we change those people?
Yes.
About the dreams, you know, and to question them and to try to live them. So maybe we can, I don't know, somehow one day share stories or something.
Yeah, that could also help. Yeah.
Thank
Very
you,
true.
dear, so much. Mala
Thank you so
bless.
much.
Keep up the good work.
Ameen, Ilahi Ameen.
Dora. You're unmuted. Zora Malik. All right, let's go and take the first question in the chat.
Yali Madad Appa.
Yali Madad.
It's Zora here, Appa.
Zora, how are you?
Shukar Mala. I have very long ties with you, but I'll keep that chapter for a side. But my question is, I'm very grateful that I'm talking to you today. So my question is, you know how we are in, Western country, westernized world, and we have our youth growing up. And there is some questions that come across asking from non-Ismailis to our youth saying that, okay, Ismailis are not Muslims. What would be one simple answer that we could teach our children and say, this would be the answer that you could, reply to the person who is questioning you about it? The only reason I ask is I just have a grown up who is 19 years old. He's working with the medical team over the COVID, and there was a non-Ismaili who came in to confront him saying that, okay, you are an Ismaili, you are not Muslim. So he used the word saying that Ismailis are I can't do, I don't have guts to say it, but that he said not Ismailis are not Muslims. So what would be one simple answer that I could go back to Subhan, who is my son, so teach him something and say, hey, this would be your answer.
Okay, Zora. I think it's altogether a topic in itself. But if Khayal is still here, there was a declaration, Khayal, which announced that who is a Muslim, and that includes Ismailis also.
The Amman conference. The Amman
Yes,
conference.
yes, Amman
So,
conference.
yeah.
Yes.
So Khalil talked about it this evening, Khalil
okay.
Andani, just this afternoon, and he said two things that you have to ask them. First of all, what is their authority to ask, to decide who a Muslim is? So ask that person, are you a mufti, or are you of that, of that group who has the authority to judge or to decide whether or not you are a Muslim or not? That's one.
Correct.
And two, point to the Amman conference and tell them that in the Amman conference, the Ismailis are part of the conference where they had decided who the Muslims are. So
Correct.
to get a copy of that. Now, Khalil did send us, and Kayal sent us, and a few people sent the link to this Amman conference, and I think I have it saved, so I can either send it to whoever if this is required. So then this is answered, okay? This will be answered very easily.
Yeah. As rightly said by Zinat, Zora, first of all, if you say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, which we say in our dua, in our 3 times prayers, there is nobody who can really question. Yeah. But I can understand the pressure youngsters might feel because of lack of knowledge, because of lack of maturity. We have to make them very strong from inside and then gradually initiate them into knowledge.
Yes.
Ismaili Mazhab is the essence of Islam, and how we travel from the period of Sharia to period of Haqiqah and now period of Qiyamah, it is a very long and interesting history. So our kids need to understand that. It's from the very beginning. First of all, we keep that environment at home intact. That say ginan baj raha ho, koi na koi tasbih ho rahi ho, that goes into their ears, and that creates a very strong anchor within. This helps, and then initiating them into knowledge, asking questions, answering them. This also helps, So I think now Amman Conference Declaration is the best answer. And who are you? Nobody is here to allow to give fatwas, So even within Ismailis, I mean, nobody is here to judge anybody else. He is a good Ismaili or a bad Ismaili.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we might be doing the same thing, which is very wrong. So outsider, nobody is allowed to do such judgment. And then, of course, I would say that initiating somebody that there was a period of Sharia, but period of Sharia was not the purpose and the end result by itself. Like when we sow the seed, then the petals are there and trunk is there and branches are there, but our purpose is the fruit. So Islam progresses gradually, like a child progresses gradually. One of the best example for Islam is that Islam is the religion of nature. If Islam is the religion of nature, then in nature everything moves, everything progresses. Things change their forms. A child is born, his name is Ali. He was a 5 years old child, he was Ali. He is 40 years old, he is Ali. His identity is the same, but he has changed. You cannot keep his 5 years old clothes for him. It will not fit him today. You cannot offer him the food which he used to take when he was 5 years old. It will not help him. So everything changes. So Islam, the tree of Islam progresses with time, and it comes to a point where the Shariat is, many of the things of Shariat are taken off and Haqiqat and Tariqat is in. So there is a prophetic tradition which is in the book of Sayyid Amir Ali, who has written a book about Islam. So this prophetic tradition, the gist of it is that, oh people, here it is a time, if you leave 10% of Sharia, you will be going to hell. But a time will come when you will only be practicing 10% of Sharia, you will go to heaven.
Heaven.
So Yeah, so you will be saved. That's what it says. So
Shukr.
it's gradually these Sharia aspects will be lifted and tariqat and the actual knowledge will be given. Like in primary school, there is a different kind of education. In secondary school, it is little higher. At university, it is altogether a different education. So Deen Islam has progressed from primary school to secondary school to a university, and we are at a level of intellectual maturity. So if we explain this travel of nature, so religion also travels like a child does, because this Deen Fitrat, the religion of nature, a religion of Islam. So that's how it progresses also. When a tree progresses, first it brings flowers, then flowers leaves are shed down, then they are no more there. Now nobody can say that a tree losing the flower is the loss of the tree. No, it is the progress of the tree, because once flowers are gone down, then the fruit will come out. So we have to understand our tariqa, and this has been a very favorite topic of me, and it could be altogether a different lecture. But I have one lecture, 7 Pillars of Islam. You will find it on my YouTube channel.
I have
Thanks
heard it,
to
Appa, yes.
Okay. So
Yes,
thanks
I
to
have
one
heard that
very
one.
dear friend, Hassan. Yeah, you will find that. And
Yeah.
perhaps one day we could talk about this also. Yeah.
I will come back. I will come back, and I'll come back and meet you again. I know I have lived with you, but that's a total separate story. But
Thank
Shukr
you so much.
Alhamdulillah. Subhan is a student Majlis Kamariya Sahib right now.
MashaAllah.
For this year, Shukr Alhamdulillah. And yes, he has replied to the individual who has asked him on the spot, saying that, okay, first tell me, are you a Muslim yourself? By pointing out what you are saying to me, is that what the teaching of Prophet Muhammad is? So that was his answer and his reply to it. But then he came back to me and he said, Mama, is there a verses from Quran? Is there something that you could give me some answers so I can tell him that you are on wrong, but rather telling him you are on wrong, I can show him the right path.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Zora, one book I would suggest, the same website, you can get one book, 8 questions answered. Those are the questions posed by non-Ismailis, and yeah, that book can perhaps also help you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Appa. Thank you.
You're welcome, Zora.
Yes.
Okay, Faiza, you have a first question from the chat. Faiza, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
You did, but we can't hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Okay. Yeah, I do have a question in the chat. There's still a hand raised though.
Yes, I just saw it, but let's go ahead and get that question.
Okay, so the question, it's from actually about 3 hours ago. And it said, it was asking about dreams, and it said, what does it mean if you can see yourself flying at will in your dreams?
Okay, I think in the slides of the table of symbols, we did talk about it a little. If somebody sees himself, herself flying, it's a good symbol. It's like witnessing the paradise where angels fly, because usually it is said that angels have wings. So like one of the moments who was martyred in one of the wars in Prophet's time, and Prophet saw him flying with wings in paradise. So flying with wings or flying is a very good symbol. It's a sign of progress and witnessing the paradise. Yeah.
Samsung Galaxy. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello, Yalman Shaman Shinazaba. Thank you very much for the beautiful session.
Yeah, Limadat.
Rahmatullahi speaking. I just had a question about regarding the Sharia thing. You know, we always see people raising those questions, but I see that it's very dangerous to deny the Sharia, or when we say it's going to be abolished or something, because when we deny some part of it, It can be, you know, I think the better way to say isn't it better to say that Shariat will be exalted, or it will be interpreted. So the real Tawil could come out, because if we say Shariat will go away, that's one question I have. And the second question I have is about Mansur Halaj, because in the lecture Faqir Sahib gave about shirk, he said that we are all saying an al-haq, that we are the truth, right? Just like Mansur, but we don't say it loudly, like them, and we don't make a noise or something like that, if I make understand it correctly. But there is a farman of Maulana Hazar Imam on 16 July 2011, Kenya. It's Baitul Khal Farman, 16 July 2011, where Maulana Hazar Imam talks about 16 July 2011, Kenya. Maulana Hazar Imam talks about, you know, the tradition of spiritual search in Islam, where he also says that there's one particular name, painful name, of Mansur Halaj, and where Maulana Hazar Imam says that this is the first time he's talking like that about it. I mean, I don't know if I'm supposed to discuss it here or not, but I just wanted to question, because Maulana Hazar Imam said, referring to Mansur, that he was so dedicated in his search that he said an al-haq. But he was killed, he said, because the truth is only Allah. And the next sentence, Maulana Hazar Imam said, if I remember correctly, is if confusing spiritual elevation with he who is above all else is not allowed in Islam. And then Maulana Hazar Imam said, he got killed because the truth is Allah. So in that lecture where Faqir Saib talks about shirk, he says we also say an al-haq. My question is, you know, how can one say, make such a claim when Maulana Hazar Imam says confusing spiritual elevation with he who is above all else is not allowed in Islam? So could you shed a little light on this, please? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rahmatullah. I do agree with your comment about, which is your first question. We are not saying that Shariat, although we have this term Raf-e Shariat in our literature, but I think while we are talking outside audience, it's better to say that Shariat evolved into Tariqat and Tariqat evolved into Haqiqat, or from Shariat, Tariqat was produced, and that is true also. So yes, I take it. And the second question about Mansurul Halaj, okay. I mean, Mansur was an example from the mystic world, from the world of mystics, because between Ismaili Tariqa and general Islam, mysticism is like a bridge, because mystics do talk things which are present here in Ismaili Tariqa. For example, Maulana Rumi says, Chigam arghawas rapa chappalanist, dardaru nekaba rasme qiblanist. Why to worry if a diver does not have shoes? Because he does not need the shoes. Like you do not need the Qibla when you have entered Kaaba. When you are in the Kaaba, all four sides is Qibla. So this is a mystic thought. And one other, in one other verse, he says that Dil bedast awar ke hajji akbarast, as hazaran Kaaba yak dil behtarast. That control your heart, that it is the Hajj Akbar, the greatest Hajj. And from thousands of Kaabas, your one reformed heart is better than thousands of Kaabas. So you see that his thoughts is very close to Ismaili Tariqa. That's where examples from mysticism are cited by Imam, by our Buzurgs also. But any Sufi without getting Isme Azam from Murshid-e Kamil, that is Imam Zaman, may not be going to that final destination in my belief, because those who got annihilated, like Nasir Khusro, He produced a wealth of literature. He produced dawat, like Pir Sadruddin, Pir Hassan Kabiruddin. They produced such touching, inspiring, and knowledge-giving ginans. They did dawat. They impacted. They were their followers. You know, there were books. There was an intellectual tradition to follow. We don't see any of this attached to Mansur Halaj in particular. So annihilation in its true sense means an annihilation in Imam, and that's where you come up with a wealth of knowledge to be distributed, to be spread. So yes, now coming to your question, this was just the introduction, and now coming to your question is, how could we say that we all say Anal Haq? While yes, I don't think we are supposed to say it openly like that. It is in the light of knowledge. It is in the light of a principle that our soul is united. Our soul comes from the same source. If we get annihilated, then our soul is annihilated. And yes, we can become like him, like Arif, like peers. But it is not to be announced in this world. Our thought can fly in that particular direction, but I don't think it is something which we can just say, because that would not make the sense. Our heart is, we are still at a level of struggling to climb up the ladder of spiritual progress. So in this state, no. Yes, P. Nasir Khusro says that agar dawa kunam haqqa ki jais, haqiqat Nasir Khusro khudais, that if I claim, then yes, it is true that the reality of Nasir Khusro is Khuda. So it is at one particular annihilation of Akhri Fana where one may say it, and that person also says it through knowledge, after having established his legacy of intellectual resurrection. He just does not go out in the street and say he is God, but he tells us that he has reached that lofty destination by showing the work, by showing the impact in the world. So this is one of the way to see that somebody has reached there, and that person who annihilates in that particular sense does not announce it on the streets. And we cannot say it unless we have reached that destination. And it is a very long journey. It is a very difficult destination. Yes, we can keep a hope that since we come from the same essence, and the peers of India and Pakistan have also said that, Ya Mawla, we are one. Why don't you lift the parda? And P. Nasir Khusro also says that as dunya tabi uqba nist bisyar wali darra wujude tus diwar, that from this world to the next world there is nothing much, but your own body is a great hindrance to see that world. Yeah. So yes, we should believe that in form of knowledge. We should hope to get to that point one day. But I don't think at this particular level we can announce it or say it that we have reached that level. Yeah, I hope I have answered your questions, Ramatullah.
Okay, Shanazapa, it's 12:30 our time, and if you go back 30, if you go back 1 hour, 30, so maybe we can stay up 1 more hour. We have 3 people still, and I'm not sure you want to keep going. You've already been talking for 3 hours now. You are tired.
Yeah, I will pick them from the chat and try to answer in some of my next lectures. Zina,
yes,
it is okay?
I think that would be the best. So I will send them to you. And maybe what we can do is the next session we do, we can maybe answer the questions, because we have a couple of them from the first and second lecture as well. To make this a question answer session and then move on to another topic.
Sure. For next 1 week, I have requested Aziz.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
I already announced and told people that we will not be having a session on Saturday night.
Yeah.
We all host and co-host are taking a break on Navroz to be
yes.
families, because Faiza and my husband have really been supportive, and so we need to take care of them one day. So we can
one day.
Yes.
Yes, they know they only get us for one day.
Your dedication is amazing, mashallah.
Shukran,
Mashallah.
Alhamdulillah. Shukran.
Thank you, Zinat. I like your offer. You know, I'll be then happy to help in any way.
Yes. All right. So then we'll see you the following week.
Inshallah.
Yes. So everybody, we are going to go ahead and shut down because it has been late. Appa has been talking for 3 hours. We've just been listening, and I guess we could listen some more, but it would not be fair on her. So next week, we are not going to have a session in the afternoon. We do have a session tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And we do have a session next Saturday, but no session on Sunday. Okay.
And sorry, one more thing, the session tomorrow morning, it's the one from the UK, it's at 12:30 their time. It's usually 7:30 a.m. in the Eastern time zone, but tomorrow, because of the time change on the East Coast of North America, it's going to be at 8:30 a.m.
Okay.
Faisal, I saw a note that says that they're not going ahead. So do we know if they are going ahead with that program?
The US, the UK is not going, does not move their clocks, but North America
Oh, that's what
moved
she
our
meant.
clock.
Oh, that's what she meant. Okay. Okay.
Yes, for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Confusion of the time change between North America and Europe.
So for 2 weeks, the time difference between the East Coast and the UK will be 4 hours instead of 5.
Okay. All right, Aziz Bhai, should we shut down? Are you back?
I don't think he's here.
He is. He got back in. He was disconnected.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I think they've already answered your question, right, Galaxy? Yes. All right. So everybody, we will say good night. And Appa, thank you so much, and lots of prayers for you. We have a choice. We either pay for it and you come here, or we all 220 people that were they come over there.
You are most welcome, but I think my be helpful if I came. But you are all most welcome.
Yes, inshallah. Inshallah, we can travel after after COVID and after everybody is vaccinated.
Inshallah. Inshallah.
Inshallah. Are you guys